Greetings, YouTube. There's an old saying that ethics is what you do in the dark. When there is no accountability, are you still acting in an ethical manner? It's something I find myself pondering frequently, both on a macro scale, on the global space scale, and on micro scale, the scale of every day, with the people and the situations I find myself rubbing shoulders with metaphorically, because I try to keep a safe distance in these age of the plague. And it's it's literally something that occupies my mind every single day. I'm a news junkie. I've always been a data junkie, uh, and that's a product of my ADHD, uh, as well as my general curiosity. Um, I am also probably fueled a little bit by my anxiety, depression, and PTSD, because I seek out bad news sometimes because my brain just wants me to, because it's not healthy. Though it's better off now than it used to be. I'm much more capable of turning away from some of the things that are really something I shouldn't be pondering at the moment, because it's just going to push me into a bad spiral thanks to having serotonin in my brain. Let's hear it for serotonin in a little pill form. But being anxious is something I've always done. That hypervigilance, though again, my hypervigilance is better now than it used to be. I mean, I carry tools with me everywhere I go. At one time, the only thing I carried was a knife, which is both a tool and a weapon. Now I still carry a knife because, well, I collect them and I use them every day. But I also carry tools, and I find them very useful. In fact, in the last week, I have fixed like 3 separate things at work, right there on the fly with the tools I carry on my person, and it was boom, 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 we're done. And now the object now works the way it's supposed to work. Very handy tools. But if people don't have to do what they have to do, should they be held accountable? Or, because accountability isn't there, do we just have to accept that they're not going to be ethical? And I encounter that every day. I'm not going to use names, but the situations I find myself in are that there are people that I have to deal with every day who are not being held accountable for their actions. They never have been. They are not currently being held accountable, and it is very unlikely that they ever will be held accountable. They know this. Maybe not on the level of actually putting it in those terms, hey, I am not being held accountable, but on some level they know that they're not going to get in trouble if they don't do what they're supposed to do. Now, they know what they're supposed to do, at least most of them do. Some of them may generally have never, ever, ever learned what they're supposed to do because they don't care. But most of them know what they're supposed to do, and they just don't do it. Some of them are even overt about it, will tell you flat out, well, that's not my job, when in actuality, it is their job. But if they couch it in that terms, that seems as though you are asking them to do something extra. That makes them the agreed, victim here, when in actuality, you're just asking them to do their job. But because they're not doing it, well, someone has to. And my ethics are that you shouldn't leave things for others to fix if you have the capacity to do it yourself. And if it's part of the general jobs of all the people that are in that area, that occupation, then yeah, I'll do it. And they know I'll do it. So if they don't do it and they walk away, they know that I will pick up the slack, because they know if I don't pick up the slack, I'll get in trouble. Now you're going to be asking, well, how come you're being held accountable? That's a good question. That is one that I have never quite figured out. Part of it is because I work on the night shift, and things that are present when the day people show up, the day walkers show up, is far more visible. Because when I come on, there's no management structure when I walk in the door. It's nighttime. It's almost midnight. Management will never see what the conditions of my job that I walk into every day. And I've learned that complaining about it gets me nothing. I'll just get gaslit. I'll get told that, it's the reasons X, Y, and Z why the people who didn't do their job are it's okay that they didn't do their job, but someone has to still do the job. So every day I find myself in a situation where I have to grapple with that idea of being ethical when there is no accountability. And I strive for that. I strive that in the face of knowing whether I'm going to be held accountable or not, certain things have to be done. Some are safety issues. If I see something that's not safe, I'm going to, by golly, I'm going to do something about it. Hell, I just filed a near miss incident report at work the other day because something happened to me where I suffered some pain and annoyance, but I was not seriously harmed, but I could have been. And I want to make sure that doesn't happen to somebody else who doesn't know what to do, someone else who might not react the same way and could get hurt. If I see something that's in the way, I'll do it. If it's something simple as a piece of plastic on the ground, which is a slip hazard, pick it up. There's a pallet in the wrong place, put it away. Somebody's blocked a door, moved a thing. Take a picture, make sure people in authority learn about the fact that this is blocking a fire exit, move the thing. Make sure that the next people who come in on all the day walkers have what they're going to need at the end of my shift. And whether I'm being held accountable or not, I am going to do those things. But I know a lot of people, and I work with a lot of people who don't feel that way. There's no accountability, and they don't care. They know if they don't do X, Y, and Z, not my problem. Next shift, I'll handle it. And I'm tired of it, but I'm stuck doing it because my ethics won't let me ignore it. Now, I'll be honest, my ethics have become more lax in certain ways. There are certain things I would have been anxious about and felt that had to be done that I don't do anymore. Partly because I realize now with serotonin in my brain that if that doesn't get done exactly the way it should be done, no one's going to get hurt. Nothing's going to be harmed. You don't necessarily have to cross every T and dot every I. You take care of the things that keep us safe. Take care of the things that make sure what we're doing is of decent quality. You make sure that the customer's happy. And you try to create an environment where your coworkers have a shot of getting through the day without wanting to punch something. And you don't have to tolerate everything. And I've gotten much better at that. I've gotten much better at calling something out. Funny aside, we were cleaning at work the other day. Something I despise doing because we'll shut down everything for an hour like once a month just to clean. And somebody walks up to me and asks if I'm having fun. Now, if it was a coworker, you'd just tell them to go and you keep cleaning. But this person was a part of management. And they asked this question legitimately. And I looked at them and I said, can I be honest? No, I don't like cleaning. I'm doing it, but I'm not enjoying it. And this surprised them that I gave them an honest answer. I wouldn't have done that 2 years ago. Now I will. But I still did the cleaning, and I did a damn good job. But whether I'm being held accountable or not, I still would have done a damn good job. And I'm tired of living in a world where there are folks that when they aren't held accountable, aren't ethical. I know this is a bit of a rant, a bit of philosophical pondering, but I need to ask you, do you think it's okay to be unethical when there's no accountability? Or do you think that ethics really is what we do in the dark?